we love food, colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods are good for you.
Welcome to Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food through books. Today we're going to be reading On Time, and this is by Jan and Stan Bernstein. This is a fun story, and it has to do with clocks and time. And as we've started back to school, some of us have had to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. We have to pay more attention to time. And this story helps us to learn how to tell time. It's almost 7, as you can see, in the Bernstein Bears' home sweet tree. And when we look at a clock, the hand that's smaller points to the number that it's going to be. So it's almost at 7 when it gets up here to the number 12. And 7 might be a time when some of us like to get up. The cubs are asleep at 7 o'clock. The alarm goes off. It's quite a shock. Some of us get up really good in the morning when our alarms go off, and some of us maybe are like these cubs who want to sleep just a little bit longer. You can see it's saying ring, and that means, ooh, that alarm is going off. Their eyes pop open, but then guess what? 5 minutes later, they're back to sleep. Both brother and sister are still asleep. So now it's 5 minutes after 7, because each one of these little dots, if you could see those, are equal to 1 minute. So when it gets to 1, that's 5 after. When it gets to 2, that's 10 after. And when it gets to 3, it's 15 after. Let's see what happens next. Oh, it's moved to 2, so that means it's 7:10. And some of us have clocks that are like this, that actually just say 7:10, so we know what time it is. Papa's coffee starts to perk, and Papa will soon be heading for work. So their mama and daddy are up, and they're getting ready for their day. It's 7:15, and off to work is Grizzly Gus, the driver of the Cubs school bus. So he has to leave a little bit earlier so he can go pick up the children. And they go to Bear Country School. That's the name of their school. Some of you might be going to school. Now, we count by 5. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20. At 7:20, Gus's bus starts on its way to pick up Cubs for their school day. Sometimes we like riding buses. That can be a lot of fun. Now it's 7:25. What about Brother and Sister Bear? Will they be ready when Gus and the school bus get there? If they're still laying in their beds, they might not be ready for school. Some of us sometimes might lay in bed longer, and our families might have to tell us to get up. 7:30, and it's showing it's straight down. The big hand is on the 6. The bus stops here, the bus stops there. It picks up bear after bear after bear. Will our cubs be ready? It's quite a worry. They may not be unless they hurry. Do you think they've gotten out of bed yet? Let's check and see. 7:35. But are they worrying? No, they're not. Are they hurrying? They are not. If you checked, you would find sweet sleep is all that's on their minds, because they're still sound asleep in their bed. 7:40. Now we've moved up to where it's on 8. Gus picks up Barb and Liz and Fred. Can brother and sister still be in their bed? Do you think they're up yet? Let's see. 7:45. Mama sees the bus. She starts to worry. To catch that bus, her cubs must hurry. She has not heard a single sound. Her cubs aren't even up and around. There's no noise coming from their bedroom because guess what? They're still asleep. No more dreams for sister and brother. They wake up to an angry mother at 7:50, and it's moved right up. It's 10 minutes until 8 o'clock. 7:55, that old bus is almost here at the house of brother and sister Bear. Oh my goodness, and it's already full of other children. So now they really have to hurry. At 7:56, hurry, hurry, rush, rush, rush. 7:57, so they've only been working 1 minute. They have to wash and dress and comb and brush. So they've got to get all ready. 7:58, downstairs, downstairs in a flash. 7:59, eat some breakfast. Oh, and then off you dash. They had to eat really quick. 8 o'clock. So in just 4 minutes, they had to get up, get ready, eat their breakfast, and get out the door, down the steps and into the bus and say hello to Grizzly Gus. They made it, but just barely. It would have been so much easier if they had gotten up when their mom first told them or when their alarm went off. Then they wouldn't have to rush so much. Moral: if you sleep past 7, you might be late when the school bus comes for you at 8. So my husband says sometimes I do too many things and I don't get ready as fast as he thinks that I should. So even us as adults sometimes have problems. But we're lucky because we have clocks to help us out. And today we're going to make some clocks out of some food. So the first clocks that we're going to make, this would make a great breakfast treat. We've got a little bagel, or you could use a piece of toast, or you could use an English muffin, whatever you might have at your house. And we put some peanut butter on there. If you would rather have something else put on it, that works too. And then we made clocks out of our little bagels. So for the center of our clock, we used a grape that we washed and cut in half. And then for the minutes on the clock, this one we used craisins, and this one we used raisins. Does anybody know the difference between a craisin and a raisin? Well, raisins actually are dried fruit. And if we took this raisin, we would find out that it used to be a grape. They take the grapes and they dry them out and they turn into a raisin. The craisins are actually dried cranberries. And so when we think about the difference in those, they're both really good, but we had to put 12 pieces of fruit on there, one for each number on the clock. And then we used some carrot strips for the hands of the clock. And you can make it be any time you wanted. So for our little bears, they should have gotten up at 7 o'clock. So we made our clock look like 7, but instead of getting up at 7 o'clock, they barely made it up at 8 o'clock. So this would be a fun way for you to learn to tell time. You could look at the different numbers, which we really don't have numbers on here. We just have dashes, and some clocks are like that. But you could make your clock say whatever time that you wanted. Another way that we could play with a clock is to take something else that's round. So maybe like one of these little applesauce cups. And on the bottom of the cup, you can use this as another place to learn. So we've got 1 through 12 written on our cup with a Sharpie marker. And you could make whatever time you want it to be. You could look at the clock and figure out what time it is before you open the applesauce cup, obviously, or you'd spill it. But you can mark on here. And that would be another way to help us learn to tell time. Telling time is a lot of fun, and it's something that we need to do so that we're able to go to all the places we want to go and not be late like our poor little brother and sister bear cubs. I hope you'll come back and join us for another segment of Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food and other things through books.
we love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods